The new Ryzen 5 9600X is finally here. However, not every gaming PC is going to be compatible with this Ryzen 5 processor, and this is why I made this video. If you are looking to buy a complete gaming PC build with this new CPU from AMD, that is perfect, because today I will show you the best gaming PC builds that are going to be compatible with this Ryzen 5 for every resolution: 1080p, 1440p and 4K. These are, in my opinion, the best price to performance gaming systems, and I will also show you the level of gaming performance that you can expect, and I will tell you whether or not you should buy this Ryzen 5 9600X or maybe there's a better alternative. The links to every system and also the alternatives that I'm going to be mentioning today will be down below in the video description. With that being said, let's start. With the first system, we have the best 1080p gaming PC with the Ryzen 5 9600X, which is going to allow you to play at 240 plus FPS on average when it comes to esports shooters, possibly 360 plus FPS depending on the esports shooter, so you can easily fit a 360Hz 1080p monitor. And then for the graphics card, you get the AMD RX 6700 XT, which is going on a discount right now, and in my opinion is the best high-end 1080p graphics card out there, and it's actually quite good in terms of price to performance, because right now it's going for $280 and you can expect 90 plus FPS on average, and I'm talking about in the most high demanding games out there, so very smooth level of performance. And the 6700 XT 12 gigs of VRAM, which makes it also 1440p capable, so if you want to play at 1440p down the line, then you can expect well over 70 plus FPS when it comes to 1440p in high demanding games, depending on the setting. For the rest of the components, you get an aftermarket CPU cooler that has RGB lights, and it's going to be amazing for the new Ryzen 5 9600X. Then for the motherboard, you get the ASRock B650M Pro RS, which in my opinion is the best price to performance motherboard out there, and it's going to be compatible with the 9600X, and it also comes with plenty of features for gaming. Then you get 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, fast memory by the way, CL30 timings, 6000 MHz, so this is the sweet spot for gaming, and having 32 gigs of RAM will allow you to play any game with no memory limit, and on top of that is also ideal if you want to do something like streaming. Then you get a 1TB Gen 3 SSD, then you get the Fractal Design Pop Mini Air. This case is actually one of the best cases in terms of airflow, especially if we are talking about micro ATX cases. It comes with 3 pre-installed RGB fans, a front mesh panel, very good quality, and right now is going on an insane discount for $60. And last but not least, you get a very well rated 750 watt power supply that's going to be perfect for this build, and most importantly, your PC will not explode. Now the total price for this system is under $1,000 right now, going for $990 by the time that I'm recording this video. Just keep in mind that the price might be different when you're watching it, so I highly recommend you checking the links in the description to see the latest pricing and availability. Now before moving into the 1440p gaming system, I want to tell you whether or not the 9600X is actually worth the price. And the reason why I'm going to tell you this first is because there are some alternatives that are actually going to be better in terms of price to performance if you are open to considering these options, especially if you are a beginner. Now, the Ryzen 5 9600X is actually a good CPU. The only issue that I see with this one is the pricing. Right now it's going for $280, which is a very high price for a CPU like this, because the Ryzen 5 7600X, which is the last gen Ryzen 5, is actually almost the same in terms of performance. In a test from Tech Power Up at 1080p with the RTX 4090, which is unrealistic, it was only about 5% faster than the 7600X on average while gaming, and then if you jump up to 1440p, it was only about 2% faster, and the margin reduces when you go up to 4K. That being said, the performance difference is just not noticeable, and when you're spending almost $100 more to get basically the same CPU, it's just not worth it. Yes, the 9600X, and it's also slightly more power efficient, but spending those extra $100 is actually going to hurt your wallet or your system, because if you spend those extra $100 in a different graphics card, for example, you are going to be getting faster performance, and much faster than just a 5% difference, or you can actually save up your money and get the same level of performance for almost $100 less. So now I will give you two PC alternatives for the 1080p system, and then I will move into the 1440p gaming system. The first alternative is spending $10 more, getting the 7600 7600X instead, very similar level of gaming performance, actually almost the same, and then you switch the graphics card from the 6700 XT to the 7700 XT, which is a much faster GPU that's actually capable of 1440p resolution with no issues. And at 1080p is kind of an overkill, but you were going to spend $990, so you spend $10 more and you get way faster performance. Here, instead of averaging 90 plus FPS, you can expect 110 plus FPS. That's a 20 FPS difference, and it's a much bigger difference than just 5%. And then if you want to jump up to 1440p down the line, the 7700 XT is able to average over 80 FPS instead of getting an average of 67 FPS from the 6700 XT. So as you can see, that's a much better option if you are going to be spending around $1,000 to play either at 1080p or 1440p resolution. And then the other system is basically saving up your money, going with the 7600X, and the total price will be around $900, and you will be getting basically the same level of performance as the $990 gaming PC build that I mentioned first. But now let's jump up to 1440p resolution. If you want to buy the 9600X, then I recommend you getting basically the same system, but instead of the RX 6700 XT, you are going to be getting the RTX 4070 Super, which is a 1440p ultra gaming graphics card. With this GPU, you can expect well over 100 FPS on average when it comes to 1440p resolution, high to ultra settings in the most high demanding titles, and you can also expect 240 plus FPS in esports shooters, so you can buy a 240Hz 1440p monitor if you want to play competitive games, and then the rest of the system is the same one as the 1080p one. Now, if you do not care about DLSS or ray tracing, then you can get the 7900 GRE graphics card. It has 16 gigs of RAM, and it basically performs the same as the 4070 Super at a lower price. So the price for the 4070 Super system is going to cost you almost $1,300, but if you go with the 7900 GRE instead, the price will be $1,240. And if you want the best price to performance system, you want to go with the Ryzen 5 7600X instead, as I said before, and in that case, you are going to be spending $1,200 for the entire system with the 4070 Super and $1,160 if you go with the AMD RX 7900 GRE instead. And I believe that these are the best price to performance systems. Once again, I wouldn't recommend you getting the 9600X, but of course, that's up to you, and if you really want that CPU, then the prices are going to be slightly higher. And then if you want to play at 4K resolution, I recommend you getting the same aftermarket CPU cooler. Then I recommend you switching the motherboard to the B650 Aorus Elite AX. This one has better features, Wi-Fi included, and it's very nice in case you want to upgrade your CPU. Then you still get 32 gigs of fast memory, but this time you get 2 terabytes of SSD instead of 1 terabyte, so you get more storage to download more titles. And then for the graphics card, you get the RTX 4070 Ti Super, which is actually very nice for 1440p maxed out settings or 4K high to ultra settings as well. At 4K resolution, on the most high demanding titles, you can expect 70 plus FPS on average, or even higher if you turn on the DLSS, which I do recommend you turning on if you are going to be playing the most high demanding games at 4K resolution. With DLSS on, instead of 70 plus FPS, you can achieve around 80 to 100 FPS on average, depending on the game and depending on the settings, but the 4070 Ti Super is a very complete graphics card when it comes to 4K Ultra or 1440p maxed out experience, and it has 16 gigs of RAM, which is enough for any monitor resolution. Then you get a 750 watt power supply from NZXT, which is A tier rated, meaning that it's the best quality out there, and this time you get the fractal design Pop Air ATX case, so it's going to be bigger, better airflow, and the price is $60, so insane discount for this case still. The price for this system is $1,600, and if you are not going to be using any upscaler, then I recommend you choosing the RX 7900 XT graphics card, which is cheaper than the 4070 Ti Super, and it's actually slightly faster when it comes to rasterized gaming performance. With that graphics card, you can expect about 75 plus FPS on average in the most high demanding titles at 4K high to ultra settings, and the price for the entire system will be around $1,500 instead of $1,600. And then if you want the best value system, pick the 7600X CPU, and the price for the 4070 Ti Super system is going to be $1,535, and the price for the 7900 XT graphics card entire PC is going to be around $1,425 by the time of filming this video. And then if you have a higher budget, you can actually go with the RX 7900 XTX graphics card and the Ryzen 5 7600X CPU, and that's going to give you faster gaming performance for 4K, and you can expect 90 plus FPS when it comes to 4K ultra settings in high demanding titles with no upscaling on. The price for this system is going to be $1,644, which is the most expensive one, and if you want to spend even more and you want an Nvidia graphics card, go for the RTX 4080 Super. That's in my opinion one of the most complete graphics cards out there because you get the Nvidia feature set, and it is also better for most content creation and productivity work applications, and in that case the price is going to be $1,695. And then if you want to save even more money, you can go with the Ryzen 5 7600 non-X, which doesn't require any aftermarket CPU cooler, and you can stick with the stock cooler from AMD that comes included in the box, and in that case you are going to be saving around $30 and getting basically about the same performance as the 7600X, and is also more power efficient. Remember that the links to every system with every alternative mentioned, and of course I will be explaining the difference as well, will be down below in the description. There you can find the links and the explanation. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for support, and I will see you on the next one.